Welcome to Ear Shifter. He's Rene Rouleau.
And he's Sean Capstick. And Sean, what kind of podcast are we?
Well, we are a musical podcast that we want to talk about bands that we think deserve more recognition. And along the way, we want to educate people. So we're an education podcast. We're going to provide some criticism of the band, but these are bands they love, so it's a very light criticism. But Rene, we're also a fitness podcast.
How so?
Let me tell you. So I'm reading this book by Alex Hutchins. He's a Canadian author, and he writes a regular column in the Globe and Mail and in New York Times about fitness. And his latest book is called The Explorer's Gene: Why We Seek Big Challenges, New Flavors, and the Blank Spots on the Map. When our kids were growing up, especially our youngest, we said, be risk takers. And my youngest son said, Dad, what's the difference between a daredevil and a risk taker? So explorers are risk takers. And there's two ways to explore. He goes through this big, he talks about a whole bunch of explorers. So the guys who crossed Australia first, one guy just went a little bit from where he knew was safe. So he'd go from water hole to water hole. And then the other guys said, I made a mental map of Australia, and we're going to go the fastest way possible between the two of them. And one of the examples he gives in this book, and it's getting back to that algorithm. So if you are navigating only by GPS, you're not an explorer. If you're navigating because you know where the points are, like that other team that actually was successful, didn't die on the outback of Australia, then you are actually changing your brain. Your hippocampus is getting bigger, and they've done tests on London cab drivers who have to memorize all of the streets in London, and their hippocampi are bigger than the average person. And if you only use GPS, your hippocampus gets smaller. So if you follow your algorithm, pity your hippocampus. If you keep listening to us and form this big mental map, your hippocampus is going to get better. And I think the band that we're going to talk about, Will talks about a song that your mind can change your body.
Oh, he most definitely does. That's a good segue. So
who are we going to talk about, Rene?
We are going to talk about Car Seat Headrest. And you almost have to say it like Car Seat Headrest, because that's also in one of the songs. So Car Seat Headrest formed in Leesburg, Virginia. But the band is currently located in Seattle, Washington. But it really started in Leesburg because the main songwriting comes from Will Toledo, as you kind of alluded to. So in fact, it started as a solo recording project by Will in 2010, shortly after he graduated high school. Toledo had previously released music under other aliases such as the 63rd Fret and Nervous Young Man, and played in a band in high school called Mr. Yay, Okay. Kind of a good name.
Good name, yeah.
Yeah. But none of them found an audience. So Toledo chose the name Car Seat Headrest as he would often record the vocals to his early albums in the backseat of his family's car for privacy. He recorded vocals through his laptop's built-in microphone. Okay, so here's the deal, Sean. I had dinner before Granddaddy with your son because you were away in Italy. And we talked about the fact that I'm doing Car Seat Headrest. He was very excited. But he also said, I'm intrigued to see how you deal with all the Bandcamp albums that he did previously. And I'm like, yeah, me too. So
how are you going to deal with it?
Indeed. It was a struggle. But I think honestly, for just the purposes of our audience and the purposes of time, I think the best way to approach this is to talk about his last 4 studio albums. But before I do that, I'd like to talk a little bit about how much Car Seat Headrest has actually put out, and it's mostly on Bandcamp. I'm going to simplify this a bit and focus on albums only, not EPs and all that stuff. So you hardcore fans out there, if you're listening, don't come at me. So in the summer of 2010, he released 4 albums titled 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then he started his first year at Virginia Commonwealth University. There, he released another album, My Back Is Kill Me Baby, in March 2011. Now, it turns out he didn't enjoy that university very much, so he transferred to College of William and Mary, and there he released his Twin Fantasy album. So we will actually focus, Sean, just so you know, we're going to focus on the Twin Fantasy re-release album that was in 2018. But this is the original album they did pretty much solo.
Which is a great album. I think the lyrics of the album are the same. The feel is very different. But on a lot of his songs, even the lyrics are more feels than a full song story. It very much is emotive the way he sings. And you can see that in the 7-8 years difference between those two, the same album released twice.
Yeah, and I agree. And yeah, that first one, I like the first one too, but I just enjoy the richness and the fullness of the second one a little bit more. And we'll get into that when we get there. So if you're actually keeping track, Sean, between the summer of 2010 and the end of 2011, he released 6 albums, potentially 7. If you count the number 5 of 1, 2, 3, 4, he actually had a number 5, but it's since been taken off Bandcamp. In 2012, he has a super lazy year and releases just one full album called Monomania, but he makes up for it in 2013 and releases a double album called Nervous Young Man. 2014, he releases How to Leave Town. Okay, so this takes us to 2015.
And How to Leave Town is a great album.
It's his favorite album of that kind of pre-signing to Matador Records. That's his favorite album. Yeah, good call, buddy. Did you read that?
No.
Well done. So then 2015 is the signing with Matador Records. Sean, do you know who else is or was with Matador Records? The only reason I ask is because you seem to know a lot about like record
My favorite Matador record by far was Liz Phair. But who else is on Matador? I like that imprint. All I can think of is Liz.
No, that's really good. Liz is there. Belle and Sebastian is there.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Butthole Surface is there. Courtney Barnett is there.
Oh, okay.
Gang of Four. Guided by Voices.
Oh, okay. So Matador, I've seen Matador a lot, yes.
Yeah, exactly. So they know what they're doing, apparently. Interpol, Julian Baker, Snail Mail. Remember we saw Snail Mail a couple years ago? Yeah. Pavement. Remember we saw Pavement 18 million times?
Pavement, I can't remember. They're a band from California, right? Yeah.
I think there's one concert in particular I can't remember, but it's for different reasons. And Yola Tango.
Ah.
Yeah. Okay, so 2015 is a big year for Will because he also graduates, moves to Seattle, and recruits bassist Jacob Bloom and drummer Andrew Katz through, of all things, Craigslist to record and tour his next album. It's the compilation album Teens of Style, which is re-recorded material from Toledo's solo discography that we've kind of covered.
And it's a great album because we are all teens of style.
Okay.
Even not a teen. I feel like that. And he wasn't a teen when he sang it either.
He was not.
but it's great to be a teen of style.
Okay. Okay. That is not my favorite album by far. I'm not crazy about the album overall, but that's okay. And you probably have a fave on that album, I'm guessing.
Sunbird Shirts. Yeah, they're all bangers, I think.
Wow. I didn't know you liked it that much.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not as much as the studio albums you're going to get into, but that is, like he's re-recorded all that old songs with the band, and yeah, they stand up.
And I don't disagree. He's definitely coming into his own on this album. You can feel it. You can see it. What's interesting is the follow-up to this, Teens of Denial, that we're going to get into. Even on Spotify, it's so apparent that he blows up, and we'll get into that in a minute. Shortly after the album's release, Jacob Bloom left the group to attend medical school, whatever, doctor, and was replaced by bassist Ethan Ives, who met the band at an open mic. Like the way he recruits people is just wild and very, very modern and of the day.
When we saw him on that Teens of Denial tour, remember the opening band was his band, and they just came out and no singer, you liked it. They just rocked out, fell on the ground, got back up, did the James Brown. And I think you said they were great. We'll never see them again, but that was a great opening band. And then they come out and are his backup band.
That's
so
right.
Yeah, so he is economizing in terms of the who else gets paid off the cut of that show, right? Like it was, I thought it was brilliant. And it was surprising when they were the backup band because they were engaging just by themselves, noodling around on the stage. That was fun.
Yeah. And it's funny because in my research, actually, a couple of the members have released their own solo albums. We're not going to get into that for this podcast, but they're very good on their own as well. Okay, so then Ethan Ives would later switch to guitar and other instruments with Seth Dolby taking over on bass. Ives and Dolby subsequently became permanent fixtures, and in 2016, Teens of Denial was released. And by the way, that is the core band. Like, they're still with them, which is pretty cool. He's actually, as opposed to some other bands that we've covered, kind of cycled through them. It's kind of wild that he found them through Craigslist and an open mic, and they're still with him to this day. Okay, so now for pretty much all of the 4 of the latest studio albums that we're going to go a little deeper on, I only really like about 4 or 5 songs on each of those albums.
Typical Rene.
I guess so. I mean, Band of Horses, first album, love the whole thing, but it's okay because the thing is, I really, really, really like those songs a lot. So I think that makes up for it. And by the way, Teens of Denial is where the Spotify listens really start to pick up. So for example, Fill in the Blank, which is on Teens of Denial, 44 million listens. Whereas compared to the most listened song on Teens of Style, Mod Gone, 16 million listens. So you can even see it reflected in Teens of Denial versus Teens of Style. He's really coming into his own. So Fill in the Blank is one of my bangers, obviously. Vincent, another one. Drunk Drivers, Killer Whales, another one.
I could leave that. I prefer Stop Smoking.
Okay. Well, this is good. And then finally, 1937 State Park. Whoa, you were drawing a blank. Interesting. Okay, cool. Because this is what we're going to do, Sean. Now we're going to do something a little different. We're going to have you pick which of those 4 songs we're going to listen to.
Vincent.
Oh, that's amazing. I did not actually expect that. That's phenomenal. Okay, we're going to listen to Vincent, guys. Let's go.
For the past year, I've been living in a town that gets a lot of tourists. In the summer months, they come and they stay for a couple of days. But hey, I'm living here every day. I don't need the complications. I'm just in it for the meetings. It's almost a point of pride. They say that it doesn't happen that often. Just sadism. Just sadism. Just sadism. Just sadism. I find it harder to speak when someone else is listening. In the back of a medicine cabinet, you can find your life story and the future and the side effects. I haven't played guitar in months, my strings all broke. They got a portrait of Van Gogh on the Wikipedia page for clinical depression. It helps you describe it, yeah, it helps you describe it, yeah.
Okay, so that's a hard decision between the first 2 songs on the album. Fill in the Blank and then Vincent. They are great opening cuts and so much energy, so much, like he's a nervous, disturbed young man as his singer. I don't know how he is as in his person, but he's presenting difficult characters in those songs, but they are great how they deal with their problems.
Yeah. He actually says that he doesn't feel like he is suffering from depression or schizophrenia. He actually feels pretty good about himself, but he just...
Which is great. Good for Will.
Yeah, exactly.
But in terms of the song, that album, Drunk Drivers, that's a nice song. 1934 State Park's a nice song, but I would have picked Drugs with Friends. Parenthetically, Joe gets kicked out of school for using drugs with friends.
That's the name of the song, guys.
But says he isn't a problem.
Oh, sorry. I didn't do it one more time, Sean, because the song is so long.
The song, and I think this is a great song. Joe gets kicked out of school for using, that's in parentheses, drugs with friends, parentheses, but says this isn't a problem, end parentheses. It's a good title and a great song.
Yeah. Well, and that's the beauty of this is, I'm doing this episode, so I get to choose the songs. But look, I let you pick that one. That was pretty good, right? It's a little different.
Thank you. It's
a little different. And fill in the blanks. Honestly, guys, like you should listen to that one as well. It's just a crazy banger, like Sean said, and I concur. Okay, so let's talk about the album itself. So what Toledo says about this album is, quote, I wrote it during a period in my life where I was not feeling a lot of love. Its tone and content reflect that. I made it because that's what I do. Records have always marked the various phases of my life, and I needed to get out of this one. So I needed to make that record.
Catharsis.
Yeah, a little catharsis. We've heard that a few times in previous episodes, actually. So it was their first to feature an outside producer, this album. And the producer's name is Steve Fisk. So I looked him up, Steve Fisk. And he did some stuff for Nirvana and The Wedding Present. Teens of Denial, the record itself, got an 86 out of 100 on Metacritic and ranked 24 on Pitchfork's 50 Best Albums of 2016. So pretty good. Not bad at all.
It was a great album.
Yeah.
And a great concert. Like when we were there, I thought it was so fun because it's teens and there were a lot of kids, but then there were a lot of people who were with their kids, a lot of people who were enjoying it themselves. I thought it was a real great cross generational concert. And he was learning to dance. You could tell he was learning to dance.
Dude, I loved his dancing. It was so great. It was so unabashedly like awkward and he didn't care and he was having so much fun. That was my favorite part of that whole concert because he just didn't care. He's just like, I'm going to dance any way I want.
He can move his body around.
He can. He can. So, Will, we love that. That was awesome.
It was a great show.
It was a great show. Totally agree. It was probably one of the best, just in terms of leaving it and feeling like so good, which is weird considering the nature of the lyrics and even some of the songs. They have a lot of angst in them, but a lot of power too. And I think that's why we both like them.
Yeah.
So now we move on to the 2018 re-release of Twin Fantasy called Twin Fantasy (parentheses Face to Face). So like I promised, Sean, we're going to talk Twin Fantasy. So I like 5 songs on this one. I like My Boy, Beach Life in Death, Sober to Death, Bodies, and Cute Things. Cute Thing. I think my fave on this one, though, is the 13-minute Beach Life in Death. It starts strong, then it changes. Then it changes again.
Yep.
And I'm like...
And just when you think you know what it's going, it changes again.
Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, this song is so cool. And then it changes again. And then it changes again. So in another first, Sean, we're actually going to hear 2 different bits of the same song.
Oh, I don't get to pick this one here?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
No.
So much for the democracy.
Okay, so we're going to hear one part of Beach Life in Death first.
Rocks into the river underneath the train tracks. And when the train came, it was so big and powerful. When it came into the little station, I wanted to put my arms around it, but the conductor looked at me funny. So we had to say goodbye and leave. The Monopoly board still in the backseat. Took that night turn to get out of town. Ran into the decreasing speed limits again. What should I do? Eat breakfast. What should I do? Eat lunch. What should I do? Eat dinner. What should I do? Go to bed. Where can I go? Go to the store. Where can I go? Apply for jobs. Where can I go? Go to a friend's. Where can I go?
So you like the long song. You like the thematic, the build, and the loud, the soft. So I think that is a great segment within that piece. And then, after those really good instructions, eat, sleep, go home, that's good instructions. Then he hopes he won't go insane.
Yeah. What does that mean?
What is beach life in death?
Right? Or what is just the mundane life itself? Is that what he's kind of talking about? I don't know.
Or that is what keeps him from going insane.
Whoa, Will, you're a smart man. You got us discussing this stuff. Crazy. All
Okay,
right,
where are we going now?
Yeah, now we're still going to be in the same goddamn song because it's so goddamn awesome. So we're going to play another clip from this song right now. So after what we just heard, it goes quiet and soft, and then it changes again. Then it goes back to hyper fast levels again. Then it goes quiet again. I swear to God, in that song, there's got to be at least 6 or 7 goddamn bangers in the song itself, in the whole 13-minute song. Blows my mind. We're going to give a quick listen to Bodies.
Because that's what I would have voted for.
Oh, okay. Really?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's my second. That's my second. But how do you feel about the one I played?
I think it's second to
It's up
Bodies.
there. Yeah. Okay. That's fair. So we're going to hear Bodies, guys.
I mean, I'm sick of meeting, I just wanna hold you. Is it the chorus yet? No, it's just a building of the verse. So when the chorus just comes, it'll be more rewarding. I would speak to you in song, but you can't sing, as far as I'm aware. Though everyone can sing, as you are well aware. Keep so quiet, it's hard to tell I'm alive. Everybody is swinging their hips. Everybody is giving the waitress tips. Everybody's dancing all of the dances. Everybody's dancing every dance right now.
Okay, so that song, honestly, it just picks up from there. It's like, it can't get more insane, right? No, that song gets more insane. And by the way, I think this is, when we saw him the first time, I think this is when he went crazy dancing, just like had the time of his life. So great.
A great song.
Yeah, it is a great song. Okay, so now that album actually reached number 3 on the US Independent Albums charts. And then in 2020, we have the release of Making a Door Less Open. So Toledo described the album as containing elements of EDM, hip-hop, futurism, doo-wop, soul, and rock and roll. But underneath all of these things, he says, I think these may be folk songs because they can be played and sung in many different ways, and they're about things that are important to a lot of people. Anger with society, sickness, loneliness, and love. So due to the 2020 COVID-19 pandemic, remember that one? That was a goodie. That's when this album was released. But the band's planned North American tour was canceled, obviously, because of COVID. And the shows were rescheduled for the spring of 2022. So like 2 years later. And when they did finally tour, this album also coincided with the introduction of Trait, an alternative persona of Toledo's, featured prominently wearing a modified gas mask with blinking LED lights for eyes and floppy rabbit-like ears. The character had originally been created for the group's comedic side project, One Trade Danger, featuring Toledo alongside drummer Andrew Katz. Sean, how did you feel about that concert with him as Trait?
So I liked it at first. I mean, it was COVID. It was one of the first shows I think we did go see. I mean, we were wearing masks and it was like weird to be in a big crowd again. It was great to be in a big crowd again. So when he came out in a gas mask, I thought it was kind of an interesting reaction to COVID. I thought it was more of a political statement. I didn't realize that they were all furries and this was part of some cosplay thing. I couldn't believe he didn't take it off. Like, he kept it on the entire time. And the eyes moving, there was some theatrics. He was dancing better. He was more staged, I think, at this point when he was dancing. It wasn't like I'm throwing my body around because it felt good. And, it was this was a bit more choreographed, right? Because the eyes actually were part of the costume. I liked it, but I wish he'd taken it off earlier.
Yeah, because I remember, so this is our second time seeing Car Seat Headrest. And as Sean said, he's in this mask. And I actually really loved it. I really appreciated him on a whole new level because, well, first of all, the LED lights, sometimes they turn into hearts. Sometimes they turn into different things because you could actually see them. But I just found he really knew that because you can't see his face, he's going to make up for it. And he was very, I think you hinted at it, he was very theatrical and very thoughtful, almost David Bowie-like in his gestures and I thought, oh my God, I'm watching performance art and listening to a band I love. This is amazing. So I actually loved it, but I did keep waiting for the mask to come off and it never did. And I was okay with that.
I think did he not take it off at the encore or, at the end? Like, he must have been incredibly hot because that's not, unless it's like a super deluxe gas mask. But, I think he did take it off kind of at the end. Remember when we saw Deer Hunter and the lights were so low and he had like that weird wig and he was so weird. It was a good show.
It was crazy.
And then
show was
in
crazy.
That crazy encore, he took off his like weird costume and said, "Look, I'm a bald guy and I'm just like you guys." And then he put it back on and then he did that. So Will didn't do that, but he did. I think he did. I did remember seeing his face at some point.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned Deer Hunter because I actually just listened to Deer Hunter like last week, just out of randomness. Very different people, I think.
Yes.
So, yeah, I really loved it. But I remember talking to you about it and you're like, I like the first concert more. I think that's what you said. Am I wrong?
I at this point, I don't recall that strong feeling, but it could have been at the time. Yes.
Yeah. And that's why I wanted to ask you that. So in April 2022, Toledo was diagnosed with COVID-19 while on tour, resulting in many of the band's performances being rescheduled and later actually canceled outright. And later he actually revealed he had developed a histamine intolerance as a result of long COVID. So he is actually still suffering from long COVID. And during this time, the band actually considered disbanding just because of his health. So it must have been pretty bad.
Yeah.
The band also considered excluding touring completely, opting to exclusively record albums a la the Beatles, right? The Beatles' later years. Okay, so for this album, I actually have 6 songs on this one that I like.
Of the 11.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
it's not bad. Okay, so I'm going to list them because I think you're going to be able to pick this one. All right, you ready? Okay, man. Here we go. Weightlifters, Can't Cool Me Down, Hollywood, Life Worth Missing, and There Must Be More Than Blood. Now, besides Hollywood, because I know you're not a fan of that song.
It makes me want to puke.
I think you misread that song, man. I think he's actually firmly tongue placed in cheek and he's just doing it like over the top. But we've had that discussion. We'll move on. Which song do you want to play, Sean?
Weightlifters. I like Weightlifters.
Oh, wow.
Opening song. I think that's such a great opening song.
Okay, that one surprised me too. All right, let's listen to Weightlifters.
Okay, so that from the Teens of Denial, from, the Bodies, was rock and roll albums. Like, this was a big departure. And I think you were the one who, like, I don't like this new album. Like, I think you were like, this is different. He's like trying, he was reaching. It had been a bit of a gap in terms of, he released. So Teens of Denial, original music, amazing songs. Then he re-released an older album, that was a reinterpretation.
Amazing.
And then he comes out with a completely different, he's just doing whatever he wants. He's a bit punk rock.
Yeah, I love that.
And, this is EDM. This is a completely different song. I think it's nice.
So I think you're right, but I think you're also wrong, because I think you're right because it was actually, spoiler alert, it's going to be the last album, the most recent album, but I did not like it at first. But this album I was okay with. Like, okay. I initially loved, I'm pretty sure, like 3 songs. And then the more I listened to it, I ended up liking whatever it was, 6. Yeah, 6 songs. So speaking of, it's so funny, man, because I literally have a line here that says, if Sean doesn't pick Can't Cool Me Down or Life Worth Missing, pick Can't Cool Me Down. Okay. So that is the song that we're going to play. But you surprised me, man. That's pretty awesome. So Can't Cool Me Down, just a banger. I have it on, like, honestly, 3 running playlists. And by the way, band, if you make my running playlist, it's an honor, because there are not a lot of bands that make my running playlists, and there are not a lot of running playlists. So that one's on, I think, 2 or 3 of my running playlists, and we're going to hear it right now. Okay, yeah. So love that song. Probably one of my favorites on that album of those 6. And let's talk about the album title. So according to Toledo, the album title has no exact meaning. Rather, he preferred it to be ambiguous to push people to listen to the album. And you're going to love this, Sean. Radiohead was noted as a large influence during the creation of Making a Door Less Open, specifically Idiotech and Kid A. In fact, you don't have to comment on that, Sean. We know how you feel about Radiohead. All our listeners know. So, in fact, Toledo has been very open about his musical influences, which include, and are not limited to, Radiohead, the Beatles, the Beach Boys, Leonard Cohen, David Bowie, the Monkees. Sorry, don't mean to laugh at the Monkees. Monkees were awesome.
And the Monkees, I think they're some kind of believer.
They were fun. They were super fun. REM, Nirvana, Green Day, The Who, Pavement, Kendrick Lamar, Daniel Johnston.
Okay.
Sufjan Stevens, Destroyer, Frank Ocean, and They Might Be Giants.
Love They May Be Giants.
So this album, NME gave this album a 4 out of 5 stars, and Metacritic gave it a 77 out of 100. And just for our listeners, Metacritic is, the way they do it is it's kind of, they take all the critics together. So if there's 27 critics, they take those and they average it out. So a Metacritic score of 77 out of 100 is a representation of all the critics that they've aggregated. But it did get mixed reviews. And here's what Will said about that. He said, I'm bummed at what some people are making of it, because most people don't follow my philosophy of approaching each album completely fresh. So they see it in terms of how they see the band already. But I just can't really counter that. To me, music is only exciting when there's the possibility of going anywhere with it, which is kind of what you alluded to, Sean. Okay, so that is that album.
So I think when you talk about influences, and one of the the things that I liked after the album. It wasn't a full album, so are we allowed to talk about it? He released a single. It was called Madlow, and I don't know what if that's an acronym or an abbreviation for something. Making a Door Less Open, Influences. Okay, there, I figured it out. It is 4 cuts of those influences. So Substitute, The Who, right? That I think the Monkees did a good job of. Golden Years, David Bowie. March of the Pigs, which is Trent Reznor, I believe. And then he does a song by Kate Bush.
Which, Running Up the Hill.
Running Up the Hill.
Yeah, I love that song.
And I think he does a great version of that song. So
is that the one he did with the Beths?
No, he did another collab with the Beths.
Yeah.
I can't remember what that one is right now. No, that's another. Yeah. Did that. But yeah, no, this is just him singing Kate, and he does a good job, right?
Nice.
And that's a nice. That was a nice '80s. I like all of Kate Bush's records, but that Hounds of Love was pretty good.
And then Stranger Things brought it back for all the youngins out there. The TV show Stranger Things, Running Up That Hill, became a smash hit again
For Kate.
Just because of Stranger Things. Yeah. Fact. So that brings us, Sean, to the latest album, The Scholars, released May 2025. A couple of differences here. His collab with the band was much greater compared to previous Car Seat Headrest albums, where Toledo would bring solo demos to the band and flesh them out. The Scholars saw some songs originate from other members of the band. This one was entirely produced by Toledo, by the way. So this is a concept album and a rock opera that features a cast of 8 characters. Its storyline takes place at a fictional college named Parnassus University that was founded by a, quote, famed playwright known as the Scop. Each song is sung from the perspective of one of these characters who make up the university's faculty and student body. For example, the song CCF, I'm Gonna Stay With You, it's the opener, follows a protagonist named Bielko, who is deeply fond of the university and its founder. Bielko believes himself to be a reincarnation of the founder and seeks confirmation of his beliefs. Shall we listen to CCF?
Sure. Okay, so again, this is where you and I differ. You like the long form. You don't like lyrics, but you like rock operas. I think you like the stanzas within the songs and how they go up and down and things like that. Whereas the rock operas don't really move me. So I listened to this album. I've listened to it again. I gave it the tries. I like some of the songs, like, when you gave me your little besties, I'll listen to that again, but it doesn't grab me the same way that those, and even his short songs on the rock albums are 6 minutes, right? Like, it's not like he's he's not knocking him dead in 2 minutes 59, but the songs are just too long for me.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting because I was going to get to this, but I'm going to just talk about it right now. So I have a serious confession to make on this one. I actually hated this album the first time I listened to it.
That's a strong word, Rene.
It's a pretty strong word.
This is your band. Whose ear shifter band is this?
I know, but hear me out here. This is a little left up. So I gave him my 3-listen rule, the whole thing, end to end. I liked the one song, Catastrophe, which we're going to hear in a minute. Right off the bat, love that song. But I had pretty much given up on it to be honest, like just giving up entirely. But then I was like, I kind of wanted to see how others felt about it because I was like so feeling strongly about it. And so I looked at the critics, Sean, and they mostly had good things to say. So allmusic.com called it unquestionably Toledo's finest work to date and one of the best albums of 2025. A reviewer from Paste called it the band's best new album in almost a decade. So God damn it, I thought that many critics can't be all wrong.
And look at you listening to external influences.
I know, man. And I'm really torn on this. And of course, critics can be wrong. They have been wrong in the past, famously. Velvet Underground, for one. So I tried listening to it on repeat again. And so now I actually like 6 songs, basically.
6 songs out of how many?
I don't know.
And out of 9. And
Actually,
that's probably 30 minutes of music, the 6 songs.
Yeah, sorry, it's 5. It's 5. It's Equals, Devereaux, The Catastrophe, and Reality. And the CCF. But Reality is another 11-minute song. And but I love it. I mean, I really do love it. But the thing is, like, Sean, what does that mean? Does that make me a fraud? Like, I listened to critics and so I went back to it? Or what is that? Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing?
I hope some people are influenced by credible voices like Earshifter and will give things a listen again that maybe they passed over the first time, that maybe they see it in a different light. That's a bit about exploring, Rene.
Yeah. Well, and you did it with me with the Weaker Thans, right? I got 3 in my rotation now because of re-exploring the Weaker Thans a second time. So thank you for that. And for you, Band of Horses, the first album.
Yep,
I made you listen to that 3 times.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so you're making me feel a little bit better about my...
I'm validating you.
Thanks, man.
You be you, and don't be afraid of playing an excerpt from a 12-minute song.
I am not afraid to do that, but I'm not going to do that to us again because it's not as good as that 13-minute one we just heard. But I will play a little clip off Catastrophe because that is the one that just right out of the gate, loved it instantly. It's a banger. Let's hear it.
Is my love true? Are you still afraid of me? Is my love true? Are you still afraid of me? Can you make it work? Is this kind of dumb? Does it put the ram in the ram-a-lam-a ding-dong? Is he as soon as you're a problem officer? Is he as soon as you're a problem officer? Did I do wrong? Am I stating the obvious? Can you hear it now? Won't you tell me what time it is? Is the accusation from you or the sickness? Is the accusation from you or the sickness? Is it OPD? Is it just your opinion? Does it give up till it's time to million?
Sean, what do you think?
Okay, that's a nice little excerpt. I will listen to the besties when you post them on Spotify, and it'll be on there, and give it another listen. And it's he's a catchy songwriter. And he writes, and the band is tight, and that piece of the music was great.
Okay, okay, surprised you a bit on that one. I like that. And you can really hear the rock opera-ness of that, especially at that end bit. It's like, oh my God. You can feel his influences were Tommy by The Who, right? Great rock opera.
So who would be the Anne Margrock character if this turned into a movie then?
I don't know, man.
Well, then we can look forward to something, because that was one of the best parts of Tommy.
Yeah.
That and that. The really mean guy, that Anne Margrock's husband, wasn't it? Like,
I don't remember.
Oh yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I'm a big Who fan actually.
Oh, yeah.
And I've seen Quadrophenia recently, like rewatched it, and that was a good one too. That was a good, and Sting in Quadrophenia, amazing.
Boss Mod, yeah.
Yeah, so cool. Okay, so let's go back to this album though. So the album draws inspirations from sources like Shakespeare, Mozart, classical opera, various biblical and religious texts, and albums such as Tommy, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust, and The Spider from Mars by David Bowie. No surprise there. Themes of the album include yearning, youth, and religious anxiety. That is basically the last album they've done, and I'm looking forward to the next one. How about you?
I'm looking forward to him coming touring.
I know, but the thing is, the poor guy has long COVID, and I think that's probably why they didn't come up here.
Yeah, yeah, and he's taken the tour he did in the he took 2 or 3 days off between shows.
Did he? Yeah.
It's it'd be great to see him
move
his body around again.
I know. I don't know about you, but I longingly looked at that tour list and went, is there anywhere close? Is there any way I can go? But this is just not going to work out. Okay, so now I actually want to do something a little different, but I actually want to give a shout out to the person that introduced me to this band.
Yeah, because this is your band. This is definitely your band.
Yeah. But that's what it's all about, right? Her name is Allison McLeod, and she introduced me to this band because years ago where I worked, we had this thing where there was 3 of us, Allison, Greg Warsnop, and I would take turns each week sharing an artist we loved. And Allison introduced me to Car Seat Headrest. By the way, I introduced them to Parquet Courts.
Okay, that was a good ear shifter band too. They do whatever they want as well.
Yeah. It's a very punk rock. So why are they an ear shifter band?
Why are they, Rene? And why do they deserve more exposure?
I know. Well, this is a weird one, right? Because a lot of our bands we've covered so far are kind of older bands. And this is kind of one of our first kind of new bands. So I don't think they're seminal, because they haven't had a chance to be seminal. It's too early to tell just what kind of influence they're going to have on future artists, because I think they are a future artist. I think from his early DIY works on Bandcamp to the musical exploration with 13-minute songs, to his performance kind of art adjacent act with his mask on stage and his theater like David Bowie like gesturing, I think he really is kind of an overlooked pioneer in the modern music world.
Okay.
And that's why Car Seat Headrest is an ear shifter band.
Okay. Agreed.
Aggressively agreed. By the way, Car Seat Headrest has 1.4 million listeners. So they're good, but they deserve more. Don't you think, Sean?
It's hard to tell those stats. Yes. Everybody should know some of those songs we talked about.
Yeah.
They are great.
100%. Okay. So I think that's about it. But what about next time? What are we going to do?
I want to continue on the brothers trip that I've been on for the last little while and talk about a brother band from Arizona.
Okay. All right. Tune in next time, people.
See ya.
Bye. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Ear Shifter. Tune in next time where we'll cover another band that deserves more. You can find Ear Shifter on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Friend us or listen to our playlists on Spotify and visit earshifter.com for more information. Special thanks go to our logo designer, Stuart Thursby, and our intro-outro music by Joe Novak. You can find him as Bye Bye Badman, one word, on SoundCloud. And a big shout out to Joe for being our awesome sound engineer / editor. Until next time.